Harry. I was almost 18 when I went to war. Well, I say almost. I was almost 17 really, but I was big for my age. And the recruitment chaps just wanted anyone who looked as though they could point a gun in the right direction. I thought my squint might go against me and tried to hide it. But my left eye always had a will of its own, and he noticed. This big burly sergeant noticed. I thought, oh no, I'm for it now, I won't get in. I began to explain to him, there in the hallway, filled with the coming and goings of other recruits, some of them being examined, some being measured, one or two getting exemption papers and looking relieved. So much noise and adrenaline. I was really worried they'd turf me out, and the worry made my squint worse. The sergeant looked me in the eye for what felt like days. He said to me, "You got a squint, son?" "I know, sir," I said. "I've always had it." "I really want to do my bit, sir," I said, trying not to sound nervous as I felt. "I can shoot rabbits, sir," I said, "and deer. It's never been a problem." He looked at me, raised one eyebrow and said, "I'd be more worried if you were cross-eyed, son. Don't want you helping the Jerrys by shooting your mate. You're in." I was so elated I wanted to shake his hand, but didn't know if I could or not, so I thanked him instead and promised to only shoot Germans. He patted me on the shoulder and said, "Good man, get one for me," and walked off, and that was it. I was in the army. Basic training was very basic and couldn't possibly prepare us for what was to come. We were shipped to France. It was probably a beautiful country once. It wasn't by the time we got there. It looked just how you would expect a war zone to look. It was a brutal awakening. War is nothing like you read about, nothing. They don't warn you about the cold, the wet, rotting boots from being knee-high in water and mud for weeks, sleeping upright in the mud walls of the trench, dead rats the size of cats, men laying dead in the trench because there was nowhere to take them without being shot ourselves, being sprayed by the blood and guts of a mate that you just shared a laugh or a crafty fag with. Nothing can prepare you for that. Nothing. War changes people. I noticed that. You either became hardened to it and vengeful, or you were sickened to the core. Did what you had to do to survive and help your mates to survive. It brings out the best and the worst in people. 2 men in our trench pinched the entire rum ration. One of them died. Christ knows what was in it. We were only given a nip a night. Those buggers drank the lot. I think it rotted his guts right through. The other chap had to be protected from us. It shattered morale for a while, you see. We were supposed to be together in this. He was put on a charge, which was a bit pointless. He shot later, not by us, but by a Jerry sniper. Such is war that the majority of chaps thought he deserved it. They say war is dog eat dog. And it is. But do you know what saw me through? Camaraderie. The camaraderie between us all. We only had each other. We had to watch each other's backs, share what we had. That's what angered the men about the rum ration. They were selfish, thinking of themselves. If they'd steal your rum, they'd steal anything. You couldn't rely on men like that. I couldn't have gone into a battle with one of them covering my back, because I might as well have had a target on my forehead. I was injured in the shoulder, put my arm almost totally out of service, and disfigured my face. Didn't do a lot for my morale either. When I was at home, I was on the bus when 2 dozy females were whittering and giggling on the seat to the side of me. One of them got up and gave me a white feather. I looked at this symbol of cowardice, sat there in my hand, and thought of all the mates who had died to save idiots like this. It made me very angry. I turned to face them, and the rest of the bus fell silent. I leaned across and gave the feather back to this stupid female and told her, and her giggling companion, that I'd given my arm, half my face, and what remained of my sanity to save people like her. And let me tell you, I said, it wasn't worth it. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I was so angry, I wanted to say more, but I didn't need to. The driver stopped the bus. Everyone on there began to barrack the women, shouting, "Shame on you," and much worse things, and the driver made them get off and walk. When the bus pulled away, everyone cheered me. That lifted my spirits, but I sat there and thought of all my mates I'd lost. I was so sad that when the bus stopped in town, I went right back in and re-enlisted. They took me because by then they were desperate, and I still had my shooting arm, and I could still see straight, well, as straight as I needed to anyway. I was one of the lucky ones. I came home after the war, trained as a cobbler, and lived a half-decent life with a good woman. I was loved, but I never forgot my mates who didn't come home. I was at every remembrance parade. I always laid a wreath of my own. You never forget people like that. Your life was literally in the hands of the men you were with. We relied on each other. You don't get that now. People don't know the meaning of the word loyalty. Makes me sad. Makes me worry for the world we fought for. I don't want the death of millions of men to mean nothing. They don't want that either. They were all good men. Men and boys, someone's son. Every one of them someone's son. Their lives were too valuable to mean nothing. So I say to you all, love the people around you, but be true to yourselves. Fight in any way you need to for what you know is right. Don't accept anything less than truth, love and loyalty. Do it for all the men, women and boys who died for you, who did what they could, who did the ultimate for you, strangers though you are. They did it for you. They died for you. They are still dying for you. What greater price, what greater gift is that? I hear this talk of consciousness. We knew nothing of that. We were not educated as you've been. Oh, we believed. Many of us believed in God. We had some spiritual experiences of our own there in the trenches, in that godforsaken mess of carnage and unspeakable deaths. Many of us prayed to him daily, and millions met him earlier than they would have liked. I remember them all. I would like you people to remember them too, not just once a year, but when you are low, when you are fed up with your lot in life, when life isn't going as you want it to, when your selfish needs aren't being met. Remember these men, because if they hadn't laid down their lives, if history hadn't worked out as it has, you wouldn't be here. Your children wouldn't be here. And the world would be a poorer place for that. You are here for a reason. For several million reasons you are here. So do them proud. Live. Live in truth and love. Be loyal. Do not debase yourself and their memories by being anything else than. And then these brave souls will see they didn't die in vain. That, my friends, is all I ask. On behalf of the millions of fallen comrades in arms, that is all I ask.